Texas is in phase 2 of Governor Greg Abbott's plan to reopen the state's economy. It hasn't been without controversy, though. Testing is increasing across the state, and with it, more confirmed cases. Joining me now from Austin is Governor Abbott. Governor, a KBTX viewer reached out to us this weekend because she was kicked out of a local business for not wearing a mask. Obviously, wearing a mask is not required by law. How do you suggest businesses and their patrons deal with this issue?
Well, listen, it's been a long-standing principle in Texas that a business has the right to conduct their business whatever way they want. I'm sure you remember the old saying, no shoes, no shirt, no service. The same thing applies with regard to the type of requirements that businesses want to apply to any of their customers. Remember this, a business is a private entity. It's almost like your own private home. And just like in your own private home, you can establish the standards of what you're going to require of the people coming into your home. The same is true also for a business. And so if a business wants to put limitations on who can come into the businesses, that's their choice. And it could limit the customers who choose to patronize that business. If a customer doesn't like that, the customer can go to a different business, one that is employing the type of safety standards that the customer prefers.
Texas has been floated as a possible home for pro sports and as an alternate site for the GOP convention. Is that business we're working to bring to the state, and how do we make sure we do that safely?
So I've been working with all of the major league sports organizations, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, etc., and we are looking to open up Major League Baseball in Texas in the early part of July. I think there may be a vote on this this week by Major League Baseball, but bottom line is we are prepared to do that. Similarly, we've been working with pro football teams. They obviously have a longer period of time to get ready for what their season may look like. And our hope both for Major League Football and, very important to your local audience, for college football, that we will be able to open up on time. As it concerns conventions, listen, Texas is prepared to find strategies where we will be able to hold conventions later on this summer. But obviously, all this depends on the evolution of how COVID is existing in Texas. There was good news over the weekend. We just need to continue the good, positive news with the way that we are responding to COVID-19.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there when it comes to Aggie football. What do you think college football looks like in the COVID-19 era, and how many people do you actually expect to see in the stands?
Well, so I believe that college football will be able to begin on time as scheduled. I would say the only level of uncertainty right now will be how many people we will be able to have in our stands, and part of that will be dictated by the status of the spread of COVID-19 at the time. Part of it will be dictated by what types of medicines we have to treat COVID-19 at the time. And then part of it also will be our observation of how, let's say, Major League Baseball is able to work and able to show that they are capable of having games with fans in stands. We do want fans in stands. All we don't know at this time is how they will be situated. Will it be like every other row or other strategies like that? It's just too premature to make a call on that right now.
Well, Governor, I have to ask you, will we see you at the Aggies home opener against Abilene Christian this September?
I sure hope so.
All right. Public schools were exempt from the 5% budget cuts that have been requested of state agencies, but there's still concern that low oil revenues or declining attendance could hurt budgets long term. So after putting so much emphasis on funding schools last session, how do you make sure the state doesn't slide backwards?
We already have, I believe, the funding in place to make sure that schools will be adequately funded. There are other budgetary challenges that we will get to, but just like 6 months ago, no one was able to predict that we would be in the situation we are right now. I think it's clear to see that no one's going to be able to predict the situation we will be in when the legislature begins its session next January. The way the markets are acting, they act like the economy is going to be fully open by then. And these medicines that there are new announcements on even today may provide some type of medical relief to COVID-19. So bottom line is this, and that is just way premature to estimate what our budgetary situation is going to be until we see more progress with regard to both COVID-19 and the medicines that treat COVID-19 and our ability to continue to open up the Texas economy.
Have you considered calling a special session of the state legislature this year to get ahead of coronavirus impacts on next year's regular session?
All options always remain on the table. Our primary goal in the early stages has been to respond to the challenges posed by COVID-19. And candidly, when you look at the results from this past weekend, and you see that we have the lowest number of deaths since the end of March, the lowest number of hospitalizations since the middle part of April, you see that good results are coming in. Our most immediate need is to make sure that we continue to slow the spread of COVID-19 in Texas, deliver these good results of low hospitalization rates, low death rates. If we can continue to do that, things will start looking pretty good.
Brazos County saw a spike of more than 50 confirmed COVID-19 cases. Most of them were at an assisted living facility. Do you expect to see spikes like this as testing continues? And have any of your strike teams been deployed to communities across the state yet?
Sure, our strike teams have been operating across the state for well over a month now, and a key focal point are senior living facilities, state-supported living facilities, and what we're doing, we're going into those as well as jails and meatpacking plants, and we're testing everybody we possibly can. So know this, and that is, even as we see so many parts of the state of Texas continue to improve, there will be periodic spikes in the number of people testing positive because we are going into what I categorize as hot zones and testing more people that we know are going to be testing positive. But once we go in there and start testing people, we're able to get the situation contained and the numbers then go down.
April was the state's worst month on record for unemployment. Experts say the oil and gas slump could make a full recovery very slow. What is the state doing to protect Texans who have been laid off and might even need to find a new industry?
Well, understand this, the most important thing we can do for those who may be laid off or those who are depending upon unemployment benefit claims, whatever the case may be, the best thing we can do for them, the best thing we can do for the entire state of Texas is to continue to open up the state for business and let people get back to work. What people want is not some type of governmental benefit. What people want is to get back to work. They're not looking for a handout. They're looking for a paycheck. And our goal is to make sure they can start receiving those paychecks. And so I predict that we've hit the bottom of the unemployment rates in the state of Texas, and we're going to start going up with regard to the employment rates, make sure more people have jobs, more people have paychecks, more people are going to be able to pay their bills and put food on their table.
All right, Governor Greg Abbott joining us from Austin. Thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.